Welcome back to the Movie Man. Today I will show you a 2010 action drama film, The Book of Eli. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. At the beginning of the movie, a bobcat running around, then a man is seen aiming at the cat and is about to shoot it. The man will make the bobcat his meal. In the next scene, it can be seen that the condition of the earth is already very arid and uninhabitable, where the animals can't survive. The world is on the verge of extinction due to the Great War that occurred before. For the remaining humans, they can no longer gain knowledge through books because all books have been massively destroyed. This is Eli, a survivor who has been walking from the east for 30 years. He is aiming for a place in the west. On his way, Eli found an abandoned house. He intended to fill his water bottle, but the water in the house had run dry. In one of the rooms of the house, Eli found the body of a man who had died hanging. Seeing the shoes the man's body was wearing were still good, Eli took them. It was getting late and Eli decided to rest at the house by lighting a bonfire. He also ate what he had caught earlier. One thing that Eli always does is that he always reads the Bible before going to sleep. You could say he is a religious person. The next morning he packed up and continued his journey west. On the way he met a woman who asked him for help, but Eli suspected that it was a trap. Sure enough, a moment later the robbers appeared and ordered Eli to immediately hand over his belongings. Previously, Eli had warned them all not to get close, let alone mess with him, but one of the robbers ignored him. So a fight broke out between them, which ultimately led to the mass murder of the robbers. After all the robbers were resolved, Eli continued on his way. Eli saw several motorcycle gangs killing innocent people. He actually wanted to save those people, but because he was far away and also pressed for time, he chose to continue his journey. After walking quite a distance, Eli finally arrived at a small town that was still inhabited. Eli then went to a repair shop where he wanted to repair his belongings. At this time the money was gone and it was also not selling well, so instead they paid for a service by bartering. Eli then aimed at the motorcycle gang he had seen earlier from the top of a building. Then we are shown a man named Bill Carnegie, who is a leader in the city. Carnegie is also the leader of the motorcycle gang that Eli saw before, and one of his men gives him some books he got from various places. In that city, there is a bar which is always crowded with visitors. Then Eli comes in and intends to ask for water. He trades the water for some items that are still of value. Then came Laura, a woman who fetched the water. While in the bar, the biker gang leader seems to be looking for trouble with Eli. He doesn't seem to like his presence. Eli did not remain silent. He immediately attacked the man until he fell unconscious. Everyone in the bar seemed to surround him. Eli, who felt cornered, had no other way but to finish them off one by one. Carnegie, who heard the commotion in his bar, ordered Eli to face him. From this incident, Carnegie realized that Eli was not just anyone. Carnegie offers Eli to join him, but Eli refuses because he has an important assignment heading west. Because it was already late, Carnegie then offered Eli to stay overnight and maybe tomorrow morning he would change his mind, so he would accept his offer. Finally, Eli accepted his offer. Eli then rested in his room and then he was handled by Claudia, who brought him food and drink. Carnegie deliberately told Claudia, who was his daughter, to tempt Eli so that he would join his father, but his efforts were in vain because Eli was firm in his convictions. A moment later came Laura, who is the daughter of Claudia. Just like her mother, Laura intended to seduce Eli so that he would want to live in this city, but still, because of Eli's strong faith, he ignored the girl's temptation. Eli then told Laura to come out, but she asked him to let her stay in the room. Laura reasoned that if she left the room, Carnegie would commit violence against his mother. So Eli let her stay in his room. Laura then saw the Bible on the bed. She asked Eli for permission to read it, but Eli didn't let her, because the Bible was not a random book. Eli then invited Laura to have dinner together, not forgetting that Eli had prayed first. This made Laura confused because she had never been taught to pray in her life. Eli took her hand and started teaching the girl how to pray. The next morning Laura told her mother about Eli teaching her to pray. Carnegie, who heard her, was annoyed and immediately became rude to Claudia. He asked her to tell him what Solara had gone through when she was with Eli last night. Solara finally said that she saw a book with a picture of a cross, and Carnegie immediately ordered his men to look for Eli. Meanwhile, Eli, who was bartering at a shop he had previously visited, was suddenly confronted by Carnegie and his men when Eli left the shop. Like and subscribe may look simple for you, but for us, it's precious. Please like, subscribe, and press the bell icon for the latest notifications. Thank you for being so supportive. Carnegie said that the Bible that Eli brought was the last book that could change human life, where currently mankind lives in misery and doesn't know how to have faith in God. Because indeed all the Bibles in this world have been destroyed, Carnegie asked Eli to hand over his Bible. But Eli refuses and he will firmly hold on to the Bible no matter what the obstacles are. Then Carnegie's men attack him, but Eli swiftly counters the attack. Eli also manages to shoot Carnegie in the leg, and after that, he continues his journey to the west. Solara secretly followed Eli away. Eli also forbade the girl to follow him, but Solara argued that where was the source of clean water for the journey? But after arriving at the water source, Eli instead locked Solara, saying that things were worse out there than she imagined. Eli asked her to return to town and live life safely. Meanwhile, Carnegie, whose leg was injured, ordered his men to treat the wound. He said that Eli's Bible was what he had been looking for all this time. Carnegie then mobilized his troops to hunt down and capture Eli, while Solara, who managed to get out of the water source, tried to find traces of where Eli had gone. On her way, Solara seemed to have fallen into a trap made by robbers around there. From a distance Eli appeared, who immediately attacked the robbers. Eli was forced to let Solara follow him because he had no other choice, and he couldn't possibly leave her alone in the middle of nowhere. Meanwhile, Carnegie managed to find Eli's trail from the robbers he had killed before. Because it was getting dark, Carnegie decided to rest and continue his search tomorrow morning. While Eli and Solara were resting, Solara asked about the purpose of Eli's trip. Eli explained that when he found the Bible, it was as if he heard a whisper to travel west. So Eli walked, which has now reached 30 years, to find a place that could secure the Bible. While Eli was sleeping, Solara intended to take Eli's Bible, but Eli woke up in a hurry and immediately scolded her. The next morning they continued their journey. They stopped at a house to collect clean water. Unknowingly, it turned out that from inside the house, there was an elderly couple who shot them. Eli then explained that their arrival was just to ask for drinking water and there was no evil intention at all. After they believed it, the elderly couple told them to come in and enjoy the drinks and food provided by them. Eli was suspicious of an elderly couple who had sufficient food stocks, not to mention a large stock of meat. It turns out that the elderly couple are cannibals because Eli finds many human graves in their backyard. Eli and Solara rushed away from there, and suddenly Carnegie and his men appeared and managed to surround them. Then the elderly ordered Eli and Solara to come back into the house, and a shootout was inevitable until finally Carnegie's men managed to bomb the elderly couple's house and killed them. Meanwhile, Eli, who had been cornered, turned himself in with Solara. Carnegie then asked Eli to give him his Bible, but Eli refused. Carnegie was annoyed that he finally threatened to kill Solara if Eli did not give him his Bible. Eli was forced to finally give the Bible to Carnegie. He shot Eli after he gave him his Bible. After that, Carnegie forced his men and Solara to return to town. While on the road, Solara managed to kill Carnegie's men who were in another car. Solara also managed to bomb Carnegie's car and the other crew members, after which she turned right towards Eli, who was injured. Meanwhile, Carnegie, who was still alive, only let Solara go. He thought that now he had the Bible. Arriving at the elderly's house earlier, Solara could not find where Eli was. Solara left and she met Eli on the road, who was still forcing himself to the west. Finally, Solara asked Eli to get into the car and go west with her. Arriving at a bridge that was in ruins, Eli felt that his destination was getting closer. Eli then invited Solara to take a boat to the destination, where the place was on an island across the sea. Arriving at the prison-like setting, Eli tells the guard that he has the last very important Bible. It turns out that this place is the only library left in the world, where there are many kinds of books except the Bible. When the librarian asked Eli for the Bible, he said it was in his mind now. Meanwhile, Carnegie, who was overjoyed at having received the Bible, turned out to be all braille in it. He was angry as he was, but he couldn't do anything but swallow his frustration. Meanwhile, Eli began to say all the contents of the Bible that were in his mind. The librarian then wrote it down. Carnegie, who was increasingly frustrated, was no longer enthusiastic about living life, as well as the conditions at his bar, which were now in a state of chaos caused by random people. Eli finally died after successfully reaching his final destination. His sacrifice was not in vain. His services in delivering the Bible will become history for mankind. The librarian has succeeded in copying all the contents of the Bible and storing it in a safe place. Now with the Bible, a new human civilization begins with religious norms. Meanwhile, Laura, who has now learned a lot from the Bible, plans to return to her city by spreading the good teachings of the Bible. That was all of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.